Hello Cancer, I'm Ulrich, I'm a normal card reader, and today we will do the financial philosophical card reading for the sign of Cancer for the month of January. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Cancer for the month of January, and these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think you relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are immediately connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. Also, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below. So Cancer, here we go for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. Hello Cancer, and welcome to the Shell or the Water group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see the card of our ancestors or people around us that are in less fortunate conditions. If we compare ourselves to our grandparents and our grandparents, we need to also be reminded here that these people made a path for where we are today. And also we need to add here, they were mostly large families that lived on one salary. Sometimes also they even lacked things when they were in retirement. Sometimes this card that's probably we are a little bit unsatisfied or unhappy with our current situation. Maybe you think or you assume that they were better off than you right now at this moment. But this card tells us to think twice about that, think about your current situation. And also we need to add here that it's generational here, sometimes the things, but we need to also think that they had very few. They had no access to credit cards. Also, once their earnings were spent, there was no credit card here, like the second card here, to go to. Also, they didn't have possibilities to travel or using exotic herbs. Mostly everything was very restricted here, and what they earned, there was no more, not a penny more here. Anyway, it's actually the reverse situation. As we know now, we still can use credit cards. The situation that we are experiencing now, it was unthinkable for them that this existed. Also, this card tells us if we compare ourselves with other people around the world here now with the current situation who are affected with the viruses, they lost their job. Some people cannot eat 3 times a day because of the current situation that we are facing here. So if you compare yourself to others, realize even if you experience unpleasant current times, that you are still in a very good position compared to people who have very few or nothing at all. So if you compare and you ask the question, am I in the same position? You can see here that there is no possible parallel with these people here. And this card asks you to think twice about that. The second card is about the use of credit cards. There's a positive and a negative side to this card. The positive side of this card is that probably there are some advantages of our credit card. Most credit cards have advantages. You have discounts in certain stores. For instance, if you travel, you get certain conditions that are better if you use certain credit cards. There are several things here, and here it tells us that we need to double check all the advantages on our credit cards, because probably we are not using everything we can, all the advantages that are connected to the credit cards. The negative side of this credit card is, or could be, that you have certain debts on credit cards, because this card is also that we could have debts on credit cards here. If you do so here, this card urges us to balance these debts out. Maybe it points that you are a little bit, because we have the balance here also, that you're a little bit out of balance here, and you need to find your balance back here. Remember, if you are in a debit saldo, or if you are below zero, this costs you a lot of money. Why? Well, because if you didn't pay by the end of the month, you will pay very high interests. If you have several credit cards, as most of us, and then probably there is a credit card in your wallet that always gives you money, even though it's already low below zero, but it keeps giving you money. These are cards where we need to be very careful with. There are no longer credit cards, they are shark cards. Be very careful, because these cards charge you enormous interest, sometimes 20–30% or more if you are below zero. So if you have such a card, here is suggested that you should balance this out as soon as possible. Put cash in that card and try to get rid of it all over. Just try to get rid of these cards, because this is really sharking sometimes that is going on. This is the other side of this card here. Anyway, it tells us that we need to balance our financial situation out before it gets worse. So if you have overdue accounts here, balance them out. This is important here that we do so with this card. Anyway, coming back to the reading, the next card here that we are having here, it's possible also that you're in for a promotion. This card is about promotions, advancing in our life, possibly also an increase in salary. And probably here we are thinking mostly that this increase in salary will help us improve our financial situation. In most cases it does, but this card tells you also to think twice about it. Why? Well, here we see that an increase in salary is very positive, and it's possibly positive, but we should also not to be too sure about it, because regardless of what we earn, our monthly or our annual salary, what really improves our financial or your financial condition is the ability to adjust your expenses according to your income. And you see the balance here. This is what this is about. An increase in your salary, it can have no positive effect if you proportionally increase your expenses, which unfortunately is most often the case with a lot of people. On the other hand, if you take full authority and you take control over your expenses, you see here that you will balance the scales in your advantage with this salary increase or this promotion that you are about to get. So invest your efforts in order to get a better management over your daily expenses in relationship to your earnings. And then if you have yourself balanced out, then you can focus on the increase of income. And by doing so, you will have a much better chance of improving your all over situation. Be more happy here with your all over situation. Anyway, Cancer, this is all for the water group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this philosophical financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you are interested in philosophical card readings in general, spiritual card readings, or classic Lenormand card readings that guide you or give you a better view on your life, or give you a better view how to maneuver in your life, you can find all those things on my channel. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for your time, Cancer, and bye-bye for now. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see the card of immediate satisfaction. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us that we live in a world of overconsumption that advocates, of course, immediate satisfaction. Here, this card tells us also that happiness, it don't come with the purchase of a fleeting object. Mostly this points to people that if they feel a little bit unhappy, or they feel a little bit out of balance emotionally, they try to find a fleeting object like a pair of shoes, an electronic gadget, whatever makes you happy here, and we buy something to find a need of satisfaction here. But here we need to realize that the happiness, of course, is not there. It has an impact on your financial situation. And if we are honest, we know that this feeling of immediate satisfaction, it don't last long. And then we ask ourselves, was this really worth our efforts? Society teaches us in order to be happy, we must consume more and more goods. According to TV commercials, for instance, it would be unthinkable that we would be fulfilled without being well dressed, having the latest dream electronics, and of course we need to add the car of the year. So every year and every day we work harder and harder to constantly obtain a feeling of satisfaction. But of course, we spend money, and this is like a vicious circle where we are coming in. So think about, especially about the small pleasures here, that they will not fill for your desires that you're having here. So this card tells us to pull ourselves together, be aware that consuming a lot is sometimes a nefast trend, and it has a very big impact on our lifestyle. So learn how to transform these instant gratifications, because they will not guarantee your lasting happiness. This is what this card is about. So if you do so, if you adjust, your life and your wallet will improve in a positive way. Also, this card tells us that if we want to find happiness, we most likely find it in the people that are close to us, like our loved ones here. This is probably the highest good that we can find this satisfaction in. The second card is about this points that these people probably are charitable types, because we have the gifts here also. This points to a group of people who are charitable. They give from the heart here. And here this points this card that we probably give a lot to others. We spend money to others. We spoil people around us, especially the loved ones or people, relatives that are close to us. But if you ask yourself, maybe you know deep inside you, was this toy, this last toy that you bought for your children, was it really necessary? If you buy certain gifts for your nephews, would they love you less if you pamper them so much? So here we see that if we do so, we buy gifts for others, it has an impact on our daily life and of course on our budget. Well-ordered charity, it starts by itself. And here we see also if generosity or gifts, it has a nefast or a negative impact, or it leads you to problems, or it contributes to financial distress, it has no place in your life. So before you give to others, secure your own future, build up a safety cushion for yourself, stimulate your own future rather than squandering certain surpluses to people around you. This card tells us we need to remove the essential from the unnecessary. And if you do so, you will be able to establish a wallet and a healthy generosity at the right time, at the right moment. The last card that we have here is the card of gifts also. What does this card tell you? Well, this card tells us actually if we are a charitable type and we always are we always give to others here, that maybe we should implement more creativity. How we do this? Well, here this card tells us we need to be more original and creative in our choice of gifts. Here this card tells us also we can be generous without actually penalizing our wallet. Well, how? Well, of course, it will ask more time and planning, but it will be worth your effort rather than, for instance, buy small baskets of gifts, or you can come up with a few ideas. You can, for instance, like you see here in the card, make recipes in jars. You can put jams in there, cookies, whatever you think, ointments that you can prepare yourself, soaps, whatever that you think is creative here, you can put them in there, and you can present them well, for instance, with ribbons here, with fabrics, and these gifts, they will be very much appreciated. Why? Well, because also you gave them not only the gift, but you gave them the most precious gift of all. You gave them your time, because these gifts that they will ask your time, and the most precious gift of all in our current society is time, because we are all short of it, because we work and we have no time. So if you make something yourself, it will be highly respected by people, and they will say, wow, you give this and you made this yourself. This will be highly respected. Also, of course, we need to add here, if you're not this type and you are in a difficult situation, or you want to adjust your budget more, you want to save more, what we can do also, we can make a list. It's a little bit accountancy, but if you make a list, it could seem a little bit cruel, but we write the individuals in a list and we add there what we spend. If you add a list and you keep strictly to your budget, if you come to the cashier, you will see that you don't overspend. Why? Because you keep to your previewed budget. So this is also a trick. If you give, that you keep to your spendings. If you make a list, you can do so. And before you come to the cashier, you know exactly what you're going to spend and you know where you're standing. Also, adding to this card, if you would be the creative type here, what we can do also here if we make certain products, be creative ourselves, we could buy some things in bulk and we go in a kind of production. So you buy more of a certain product, and if you buy more, you will get a discount. So here, this will prevent you also from spending more. So this is all for the Air Group for this month, Cancer. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. If you are interested in psychological, philosophical card readings, you can find those also on my channel. If you're interested in classic Lenormand card readings that give you a view over the near future, you can find everything on my channel. Just check it out here. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for doing so, and bye-bye for now, Cancer. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Stone Group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see the heavy card of the deck. This is the card of that we are in financial distress, or that we are about to come in a financial difficult situation. Probably this points that for some people here in this group, it means that their financial situation torments them. Some people will sleep less here. Maybe you are in certain deficits, or you have reached a point of no return. This is what this card is about. If you are in a point of no return, for instance, if it could also be related to your business, because a lot of business people have difficulties now. So if you have a business here, here sometimes it is considered here that that we maybe take a bankruptcy specialist for getting out of our difficult situation. But of course, before you start such an agreement, inform yourself well, do more than consult a professional, evaluate these choices that are offered to you, advantages, disadvantages here, make sure that you understand impacts of such an agreement here, because it will have an effect on your very close future here. You will probably need to adjust your lifestyle and especially your consumption habits radically. If you did not reach that point, also I want to mention, if you are a private person, you could, for instance, consider going to a social assistant in your local community. Mostly those are free, and these people in general can guide you also well for helping you out financial distress. They can give you some certain advice. They can help you plan your budget more for coming in a better situation. Also, this card tells us here that if we probably need to change our financial consumption in a drastical way here. Here we see also that if we continue to do so, the situation, if it's not business, but it's actually spending, if we keep spending as we do, we will probably hit ourselves against the wall, our head against the wall. So be careful here, because this card is already a very extensive card here that we are having. It's very direct, this card. So be careful here with this combination. If you did not reach this point of financial distress, this is a last warning card that you are probably overspending. So be careful here with your overall situation. The last card is, it could be that your financial situation, it's caused by certain social pressure. What is social pressure? Well, social pressure is we are human beings, and in general, we compare ourselves to others. Most people do this. We live in a community, and this community determines our place in relationship to others. And we add there that we live in a society that advocates overconsumption. So if you look around you, you probably see that your friends, neighbors driving around in new luxurious cars. They wear nice designer clothes, and sometimes maybe for your part, especially now, you're going through difficulties, and it makes you think, it makes you a little bit unhappy. And but also you think, how do they get these people, or how do they financially balance these things? And this card tells us not to compare our situation with people around you. We make choices every day, and you are responsible for those choices. And also, don't let financial appearances of other people fool you. It's not what we see that is exactly going on here. We need to be take distance here, because it's not necessarily that everything you see is paid for here. So this card tells you, if you have certain things to buy that you have no other choice, for instance, you, for some reason, you need to buy something that you actually need in your housekeeping, you should consider second-hand things, maybe with an extensive warranty, whatever. If you need to buy something, you could consider buying, checking out second-hand websites for balancing yourself better out if you are in absolute need of buying something. For instance, if your car let you down in this difficult period, you should consider a second-hand car, maybe a second-hand car with an extensive warranty. Anyway, here we are urged to see different angles, look at different angles here for getting back on our feet. So this is what we are, what this card tells us. Don't bend for social pressure and always new. See your own situation as it is here. Here we see we need to live according to our own needs and our own abilities. So define yourself socially by your personality and your personal accomplishments, and these are ultimately much more worth than new expensive clothes or new gadget or whatever, or new cars here. So don't bend for social pressure, go your own way in life here, and don't compare yourself to others. The last card is probably here that we are maybe we're thinking here, maybe our we are thinking here that maybe we are in a very bad situation, and maybe we regret this situation. And we said, we think maybe, well, previous generations, they were much better off than us. Maybe you think your great grandparents or your grandparents, they were better off. They don't have the pressure that we have today. But this card tells you also to think twice about that. Here, mostly these people, our ancestors, for instance, they lived mostly in large families. They had 3-4 children. And mostly they had one salary, one of both parents worked, and they lacked certain things. Even when they were in retirement, they lacked certain things. And also we need to see here that also they had no access to credit cards. So once their salary was used up, there was no more money. So here there was little space here to move. They mostly were contented with what they had, even though it's very few here. Once the salary was spent, there was nothing left anymore. They had not a view on an exotic herbs they could use in the kitchen. There were no trips to be found in the near future. Mostly the focus was on the home loans, that the house would be paid long off before retirement. It's actually the reverse situation as we currently know. Also, this card tells us about that we probably are still happy, even though we are in a severe, difficult situation, that if we compare ourselves, some people in current conditions in other countries, they cannot even buy 3 meals a day because of the viruses that are around us here. So if you compare yourself to these people, you see there is no possible parallel. If you compare also to your grandparents, you see that you are still in a very good condition compared to those who have very few or nothing at all. So this card wants you to compare, and it wants to ask you if this situation is exactly the same for you. So we cannot compare our comfort to those because there is no possible parallel. So reflect on others, reflect on your ancestors, think about certain concessions also they had to make. So this will improve your view. It will give you a different point of view over the situation that you have now. It doesn't mean that, of course, this is an easy reading. Anyway, Cancer, this is all for the Stone Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this financial philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading won't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here for Cancer. Also, you can check out the psychological, philosophical card readings that we do, and of course the classic Lenormand card readings, which give you some view in the very near future. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for your time, and bye-bye for now, Cancer. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Matches or the Fire group for your short financial philosophical card reading for January. As your first card here, we see the card of food. What does this card mean? Well, it means probably that we are urged here to eat healthier, eat better, spend our money for our food in a very smart, in a better way here than we do right now. Here, sometimes this points that here we buy a lot of takeout foods. Here also we order out, we go to restaurants. Maybe we buy a lot of fast food, or we bring meals that are already finished off from the supermarket. And of course, this has a certain impact on our budget. It requires household management, and the expenses literally could have been exploded in your budget. Sometimes also it points that we have a lot of work. But here this card tells us maybe that we need to remanage our housekeeping. This card points also that we should cook ourselves more and more healthy. So this card wants us to get our pots and pans back out of the closet here for limitation of your expenses. And if you cook more yourself, you will see that you come in a more balanced budget. Of course, it will require some of your time, but it's also about eating healthy here and losing the hefty bill that probably you are confronted now on regular basis. So break this chain of overspending from takeouts or whatever for the coming weeks here, and plan more home cooking time. This card wants you to learn the joy of the culinary art. You will eat better, and you will feel healthier, and you will, of course, be financially healthier off. The next card is the card about compensating. Most people of us, if we work hard, we want to compensate ourselves. Some of us compensate themselves with buying superficial things. But this card tells you here to budget. This is all about budgeting, because the last card is about budgeting. And here, this card tells us here that, for instance, if we work hard and we want to compensate this, don't buy any superficial things. And if you compensate yourself or want to compensate yourself, you can do this with simple things. For instance, it's very cold outside, you go for a walk for relaxing yourself, you come home, you make a glass of warm milk with honey. It's a compensation that costs very few. It's very hot in the area where you live. You come home, you drink some iced tea with some ice cubes, and it gives you a very satisfying feeling, and it don't cost much. This is what this card is about: buying. Try to avoid buying things for satisfying yourself. Of course, here this card tells us also that we have little treats or rewards in our life here, especially if we work a lot and we have high expenses. But here this card tells us to reduce your expenses. Don't overdo it. Probably you have built up a certain safety cushion for yourself, and this card tells you to keep everything balanced. It's like a warning card here that you should proceed yourself for making yourself more safe. Of course, you deserve a reward or an award, but then here we ask ourselves, is it wise to do so? So think today about looking for certain compensations that will make you smile without actually affecting or letting your wallet bleed. So here we see that we can do this in several things. For instance, we can take a walk, we can read, we can listen to music. We do things that don't cost money here. It's idleness, or you go for jogging here. Get to know what and make a list what really makes you tick, what makes you happy that don't cost money, and find rewards that encourage you without financially breaking you. The last card is the card about budgeting. Here we see if we want to establish a certain budget or a form of leadership of budgeting here, we need to follow a certain plan. Planning is very important if we want to budget ourselves. For some people, accountancy or budgeting, it's an impossible task to achieve. For others, it's something logical. It just comes with the type of person they are. So it depends what kind of person here that you are exactly are. Sometimes this points to people that have difficulties and maybe overspent a little bit in the past. But here also, this tells us probably we are planning something in our house. Maybe we want to make some adjustments in our home. Maybe there is some expenses that we need to do. Maybe we need to buy another car. Maybe some big expense is coming up. And this card is also about the unforeseen. If you are about to plan here, this card tells us that we need to add more to the budget that we have foreseen. For instance, it's wise always to add 10%. So this card wants to protect us for certain calculations that we do for the future, that we incalculate also the unforeseen. So at 10% in your expenses, if you do some, if you are planning some expenses here for the near future. So it's like a flow that we are making by budgeting here. Anyway, here we see that we need to find alternatives sometimes here. Also, sometimes a wise thing to do with this card is paying cash. A lot of us pay with bank cards. If you pay cash, you have more control over your budget. Why? Well, because you actually take the money out of your wallet, and as you hand over the money, it causes like a psychological pain in your brain, and you actually see the money disappearing out of your wallet, and it gives you more control. This is also a good trick here for getting more financial balance. Anyway, you need to determine for yourself what is right for you, and you will find more financial balance in your life. So Cancer, this is all for the fire group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this financial philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. If you are interested in psychological, spiritual card readings, we do also. They are very good guides. You can find them on my channel. And also you can find, of course, the classic Lenormand card readings who give you a very good view in the near future. Anyway, Cancer, thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, and bye-bye for now.